Just listen to this. Isn't that just so satisfying? Remember to stay hydrated, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Notorious EDC Kingpin. This is a slip joint knife, and trust me guys, if you're not into slip joints yet, this knife will get you into them. But for now, sit back, relax, and let's get it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Minimalist. My name is Brandon and I just recovered from COVID. I still kind of feel a little bit sick, so you might hear it in my voice. I wanted to apologize for not posting a video last week as I was in recovery, but moving forward in 2023, there should be anywhere between 1 to 3 full-length videos per week. On top of that, we'll be streaming a lot more often, so if you want to drop by one of my streams, make sure that you guys have those bell notifications on. I usually go live on Tuesdays and Fridays. So today we're going to be talking about the Notorious EDC Kingpin. This is a slip joint knife, and if you guys know me, I'm not a huge fan of slip joints up until this knife. Now, I've been carrying the Kingpin for about 2 months, and I'm ready to give you guys my full impressions, some details about this knife, and why I think this is going to completely change your mind in terms of slip joints if you decide to pick one up. Like I said before, the Kingpin is a slip joint knife, so essentially the blade does not lock into place, but instead it uses a spring to kind of put tension onto the blade and hold it into place. Slip joints are very traditional, so you might find one of these in your grandpa's back pocket, and that's kind of like the nostalgic part of pocket knives. Without slip joints, we would not have the crazy frame lock, crossbar, or button lock knives that we have today. Now, in terms of the Kingpin, there are 4 different variations that you could have pre-ordered. My most favorite one is going to be the full titanium stonewash blade version. Next up to that is going to be the OD micarta with the satin blade. After that, there is a black micarta with the satin blade, and then finally the murdered out one with a black PVD coated blade and black micarta. The Kingpin ranges anywhere from $280 all the way up to $295, and they're manufactured by Riyadh. That may seem to be a lot for a bunch of you guys, but this is a very premium knife. Now, here's a quick size comparison between the Kingpin and the Bug Out. As you can tell, with the Kingpin, it's going to be quite a bit smaller than even the Benchmade Bug Out. With the knives deployed, you can tell that the Kingpin is still going to be about an inch to an inch and a half shorter than the Bug Out. And of course, the Kingpin is going to be a lot thinner than the Bug Out. The Kingpin does come with an M390 blade across all of its different variations, which I absolutely adore because M390 is one of my most favorite premium steels. Before I give you my full impressions on this knife, let's give a quick word for today's sponsor. This video is brought to you by House of Blades, a premier knife dealer located in Fort Worth, Texas. House of Blades is the one-stop shop if you're looking for really high-end knives, budget knives, multi-tools, water bottles, you name it, and they will probably have it. The reason why I love the House of Blades is because of all their different brand offerings. They stock Benchmade, Microtech, Spyderco, ZT, Kershaw, Civivi knives, Yeti, just to name a few. They also offer a really cool laser engraving service. So if you're someone that wants to have a unique knife that's really personal to you, all you gotta do is send over your files and they will engrave it straight onto the blade. If you're interested in purchasing a new knife from House of Blades, make sure you go to the link in the description below and use code EDM for 10% off your entire order. Thank you so much to House of Blades for sponsoring this content. Let's get back to the video. So let's talk about the Kingpin and my overall impressions. First off, when I went to unbox this knife, it came in a really nice box. And the thing is, as a reviewer, I really do care about the packaging and how well it's presented. Notorious EDC completely nailed this by making this feel like a premium experience. It came with a really nice leather sheath along with a microfiber cloth with the Notorious EDC branding. Those small tiny extras go a very long way, especially if you're going to be investing $280 to $300 on one of these knives. When I got the knife unboxed and opened it for the very first time, I realized that this has almost the perfect walk and talk. Now, walk and talk is basically the sound and motion a knife makes when you go to open and close it. The Kingpin has a medium weight in comparison to some of my other slip joint knives like the Tactile Bear and then also the Jack Wolf knife lineup. And to give you a quick reference, here is the Jack Wolf knives sharpshooter. This thing takes a lot more force forced to open and close, whereas the Kingpin is going to be a lot easier to open and close. That's my personal preference, but some people might like to have that heavier weight to open and close their knives. I just like it right in the middle, and the Kingpin definitely does that. The next thing I wanted to talk about is ergonomics and cutting performance. Again, this has an M390 blade. It's extremely sharp, it's got a hollow grind, and it slices through things very well. I definitely wouldn't suggest using this with heavy tasks like feather sticking or batoning stuff, but when it comes to daily EDC tasks like opening up packages, letters, stuff like that, this thing is perfect. The blade does come to a very fine tip, so for those of you guys that use your knives as pry mechanisms, this is not the one that you're going to want to use. And I believe the Kingpin is perfect as a secondary knife. This thing fits in pretty much any pouch that I've got, whether it be the Notorious EDC AGP, the Garage Built Gear Mighty Pouch Plus, or the Data Crew What a Slider. When you're around people, this might be the knife that you're going to choose to do whatever cutting task you have. I love the fact that the Kingpin comes with a lanyard hole. That way you can kind of customize your knife and make it your own, but it actually is functional. Because this thing has no pocket clip whatsoever, you're probably going to put it inside the sheath. Pulling the knife out with a paracord is just a lot more convenient. It's a lot easier than digging around within the sheath to try to get the knife out. A couple other things I love about the Kingpin is going to be this fuller. It's not even like a nail nick. I guess you could call it a nail nick if we're talking traditionally, but for me personally, I like to grab the blade like this or pinch it and then open it like that. On traditional slip joints, you will have a traditional nail nick, and I personally don't use it at all, in matter of fact, so I prefer having this fuller on the Kingpin. Last but not least, let's talk about collectability. And if you guys don't know what this is the Notorious EDC Beer Bomb. This is a renowned piece of pocket art that works as a multi-tool. If you guys have never seen one of these, here you go, check them out on Instagram. But they essentially sell out within seconds. The reason being is because of the overall aesthetic. It is a piece of pocket art, and in some cases, this is a grail piece to a lot of collectors. I feel like that's going to be very similar with the Kingpin. This titanium one specifically just has that really nice slender aesthetic. Couple that with all of the premium materials, and I think this is going to be a really cool collector's knife. If you didn't get in on the pre-orders, I'm sure they're going to be launching more of these soon. They've been sold out on the Notorious EDC website for a while now, which is a really good thing for Tom. He's the creator of Notorious EDC. I'm really happy to see that because that means that this knife is going to be really collectible. If you ever get the chance to score a Kingpin, I suggest that you do. This is a slip joint knife that has completely changed my opinion on slip joints, and I hope it does for you as well. Aside from that, thank you guys so much for dropping by, and I guess we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.